Aisha had always been a careful observer of people. She had learned early on that trusting too easily could lead to heartbreak. As a top student in her second year of college, she maintained a meticulous routine, attending classes, volunteering at the community library, and spending quiet evenings immersed in books. Her world had been predictable and safe, anchored by her closest friend, Zara. But Zara disappeared 6 months ago. It was sudden and without warning. One evening, Zara had promised to meet Aisha for coffee to discuss an upcoming charity event. She never showed up. Calls went unanswered, texts remained unseen, and even her family had no answers. The official investigation had hit a dead end within weeks. Aisha hadn't just lost a friend, she had lost her sense of security. The once vibrant campus now seemed oppressive, its buzzing energy reduced to a dull hum in her ears. Every unfamiliar face felt like a potential threat. This was the world Aisha inhabited when Nadia entered her life. It began on the first day of the new semester. Aisha was sitting in the back of the auditorium, flipping through her notes, when she felt someone sit beside her. "Mind if I join you?" a warm voice asked. Aisha glanced up. The girl had an air of effortless confidence, wavy black hair that framed her sharp features, a radiant smile, and piercing hazel eyes that seemed to hold secrets. "Go ahead," Aisha said hesitantly, scooting over. Over the next few days, Nadia seemed to appear everywhere Aisha went. In class, in the cafeteria, even in the library where Aisha sought refuge from the world. Nadia's charm was undeniable. She had a way of making everyone feel special, her laughter infectious and her energy magnetic. "I feel like we were destined to meet," Nadia said one afternoon, her grin disarming. "You're too interesting to stay hidden in the shadows." Despite her initial wariness, Aisha found herself drawn to Nadia. There was something intoxicating about the way she made Aisha feel seen and valued. Slowly, the walls Aisha had built around herself began to crumble. Their friendship blossomed quickly, but Aisha couldn't ignore the occasional oddity in Nadia's behavior. One evening, as they sat on the campus lawn watching the sunset, Nadia turned to Aisha with an inquisitive look. "Did Zara ever talk to you about secrets?" she asked. Aisha stiffened. "What do you mean?" "Oh, nothing serious," Nadia said lightly. "I just mean, did she ever mention things she didn't share with others? Fears, regrets, that sort of thing." Aisha shrugged, uneasy. "Not really. Why are you asking?" Nadia waved it off with a laugh. "Just curious. You two were so close and I feel like I missed out on knowing her." Though the explanation seemed harmless, the question lingered in Aisha's mind. Why did Nadia care so much about Zara, someone she'd never met? It was a Friday evening when Nadia suggested they study at her place. "The library's too crowded, and my house is quiet," she said. "Plus, I make a mean cup of coffee." Aisha hesitated. She'd never been to Nadia's house before, and something about the idea felt off. But Nadia's persistence won out. The drive to Nadia's house took them out of the bustling city and into a quiet, secluded neighborhood. As they approached, Aisha's unease grew. The house was a crumbling Victorian mansion, its once grand facade now marred by ivy and decay. It stood apart from the other homes, perched on a hill that seemed to isolate it further. "Wow," Aisha said, trying to mask her discomfort. "This place is unique." Nadia laughed. "It has character, doesn't it? Don't worry, it's cozier inside." The interior of the house was even stranger. The air was thick with the scent of lavender, mingled with something metallic and faintly sour. Dark wooden panels lined the walls, and the furniture looked like it belonged in a museum. "Make yourself comfortable," Nadia said, disappearing into the kitchen. Aisha settled on the worn leather couch, her unease deepening. The grandfather clock in the corner ticked loudly, each chime echoing like a warning. The shadows cast by the dim lighting seemed to stretch and move, distorting the room in subtle ways. Her gaze drifted to the hallway. A door at the far end stood slightly ajar, a faint glow emanating from within. Curiosity got the better of her. Aisha stood and crept toward the door, her footsteps muffled by the thick rug. The glow grew brighter as she approached, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. She pushed the door open and froze. The room was small, its walls covered in strange symbols carved deep into the wood. Candles flickered in a circle on the floor, illuminating a shrine of sorts. In the center lay an array of objects, jewelry, photographs, notebooks, all belonging to students who had gone missing. And there, nestled among the items, was Zara's bracelet. Aisha's breath hitched. Her mind raced as she pieced together the implications. Nadia had something to do with Zara's disappearance, and perhaps the others as well. Before Aisha could leave, the door slammed shut behind her. She spun around to find Nadia standing in the doorway, her face calm but her eyes cold. "You weren't supposed to see this," Nadia said. Aisha stammered. "What? What is this? What are you doing?" Nadia's expression didn't waver. "I liked you, Aisha. I really did. But you've left me no choice." The shadows in the room began to move, crawling up the walls like living creatures. A low, guttural growl echoed from the corners. Aisha's survival instincts kicked in. She shoved past Nadia, sprinting down the hallway, but the house seemed to twist around her, its layout shifting. Hallways elongated, doors vanished, and windows were shrouded in impenetrable darkness. "Stop running, Aisha!" Nadia's voice echoed, now layered with an inhuman tone. Aisha stumbled into the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the counter. The shadows coalesced into a figure resembling Nadia, but its eyes burned like embers. "This isn't personal," the figure hissed. "It's survival." The next morning, the house was empty. Aisha's belongings were found in a field miles away, but there was no sign of her. Nadia vanished, leaving no trace of her existence. Weeks later, a new girl appeared on campus. She was charming, confident, and carried a familiar notebook that once belonged to Aisha. The end.